Yo, it's the Fields Bros. This is Attack on Titan episode 33 review. Episode is Hunted. So last week, the Colossal Titan's fall allowed Reiner to free himself, and that led to him successfully kidnapping Eren and allowing Bertholdt and Ymir, he was carrying Ymir, to latch onto him, and then he makes a break. He just takes off sprinting. So they're all gone. The Titan, Reiner and Bertholdt have gotten the other two Titan shifters, Eren and Ymir, and they are escaping to an undisclosed location at this point. So yeah, shit has hit the fan. Also, several soldiers are concussed, injured from this last encounter with the Titans. Hanji, Mikasa are some of the notable ones who are laying down, who are unconscious at the moment. Now, I usually don't like covering flashback scenes that are kind of irrelevant, but we'll jump on it real quick. While Mikasa's unconscious, she has a flashback, or she's dreaming of her protecting Eren. Eren gets in trouble, with he's being bullied or whatever, and she shows up and kicks everyone's ass like she does. But yeah, that's basically what happens in the flashback. She wakes up, and if you know Mikasa's personality, she's kind of obsessive when it comes to Eren. So she wakes up, and she's kind of freaking out, and she can't see him anywhere. She's wondering where Eren is, and she sees Armin until she asks Armin, "Where's Eren? Well, what happened?" And Armin says that the Eren, he's been kidnapped along with Ymir, and she has this look in her eye, and uh, she asked, "Well, why are we going after him?" Me and Levi were able to get him back, from Annie back in the forest. When the two of us went after him right away, and Armin says, "Well, it's been 5 hours since that happened, and we don't have all the horses we need are on the other side of the wall, so we can't even get them over right now. So until we have horses, we can't go after them. Not to mention, there's only a handful of people, not enough for any type of scouting expedition. So they're pretty much screwed at the moment until they get the reinforcements and get the horses over the wall." So Mr. Hannes approaches Armin and Mikasa, understanding that how close they are to Eren and that the state they're going to be in. So he tries to convince them that Eren is he's really tough minded. He's stubborn. Of course, he's a tough he's a tough SOB, and he's going to give anybody trying to take him against his will hell basically. So have some faith in Eren. And he tries to convince them to get some food and get their strength up because they're going to be needed. They're going to need all their strength to get him back. A little earlier, Commander Ervin, Commander Pixis were having a little conversation, and Commander Pixis, says to Ervin, "So I see you caught some more of those troublesome mice. I see," referring to the Titan shifters. They were just talking while they were waiting for those reinforcements and whatnot. But Hanji actually wakes up. She was unconscious earlier, but she, comes to. She's still in bad shape, crawling on the ground, and she's screaming, "I need a map! I need a map right now! Somebody get me a goddamn map!" So somebody gets her a map, and she's looking at it, and she asks which direction the Titans took off running in, and they point that, all right, they're heading towards Walmaria territory. Their destination is somewhere towards or beyond Walmaria. And Hanji also says, "Well, if you consider the battle that we just had, if you consider the health they were all in, Reiner, Bertholdt, Eren, and Ymir, especially Ymir, Reiner, and Bertholdt. Ymir was already missing limbs in a coma before she was captured. Reiner's body's been through hell the last few episodes. He's had his arm almost gnawed off by a Titan. Then Mikasa chopped off his arm. Mikasa slashed, Bertholdt's throat. He's taken damage in Titan form in battle. No one's had any food, water, or rest. So she theorizes that they're going to need to take some rest somewhere, and there's no better spot than that giant forest, that forest of giant trees that I'm sure everybody remembers from the first season. And um, considering they're in deep Titan territory, there's no place to rest other than that forest where you can go really high up in these trees, which are, 40 meters tall at least. Who knows how, there could be even taller. But anyways, if you go high up in these trees, you can actually rest up there. And, so it's been 5 hours. So they think Hanji says there's a chance that they're resting there. If we leave right now, we could get there by nightfall. And obviously, Titans are ineffective at night. Most of them are, anyways. So there's a chance if we leave now, we can catch them before they are done resting. And she thinks they're going to try to leave at nightfall once they're all healed up as much as they can. And we find out that Hanji's actually right. We see the next scene jumps to the forest, and Reiner, Bertholdt, Eren, and Ymir are all posted up on trees, basically just like she thought. Eren doesn't have any arms. Ymir is missing, an arm and a leg. Reiner, I think he took Eren's ODM gear because he now has ODM gear on, and he didn't have any before. Bertholdt has ODM gear as well. So they both took ODM gear from the extra soldier that they captured last week when the Colossal got Ymir. He grabbed her and he threw her in his mouth, but there was also a secondary soldier that got thrown in there. I thought it was just random, but obviously the extra soldier was for the ODM gear he wanted to have for later on in this forest. So that makes sense. So Reiner simply says, "Oh, Eren's awake now." And that's basically where the episode ends. So we're not going to get this conversation in the forest quite yet. I am curious what they're going to all talk about now that they're all, secluded. They're away from everybody. They can speak freely at this point. And, I'm sure we're going to have some big reveals in the conversation they have. Not to mention the scouts are going to be attempting to pursue next week. And obviously they're going to be caught off guard by this. I doubt they would expect them to be pursuing this quickly. Anyways, great episode. Thanks for checking out the review, guys. Take it easy.